Number 58 states, what is the sum of the first 4 terms of the arithmetic sequence in which the 6th term is 8 and the 10th term is 13? If it's an arithmetic sequence, that means the relationship is linear. There's a common difference that we're going to see here. So if the 6th term is 8 and the 10th term is 13, let's keep that in mind as we calculate this. So really this is like my change in y over my change in x. I can think of it like that. So change in y over change in x. If I'm calculating the slope, that's really the common difference here in this pattern. So I've got 13 minus 8. That's going to be my change in the sequence terms, or in the sequence values. In the terms themselves, we're saying 10 minus 6. So every time you're going up 4 terms, you're actually increasing by 5. So per term, every time you go up 1, you're going up by 1.25. You're going up from 8 to 13. So this is your slope. And if we think of this, I like to think of sequences in terms of stuff we're really familiar with. So y equals mx plus b. We can think about that here. Or we can think about point slope form here. I think this might actually be better to think about in point slope form. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. You could pick one of these 2 points. I'm going to pick that the 10th term is 13. So I'm going to use that here. Y minus y1, 13, would equal m, I figured out, was 1.25. So 1.25 times x minus, and then the x1 is 10. So I'm going to solve this for y. That will allow me to figure out any terms I want here. So this would be 1.25x minus 12.5. And this, if I add 13 to both sides, I've got y equals 1.25x plus 0.5. So that means my first term would be, if I plug in 1, we're looking for the sum of the first 4 terms. If I plug in 1 to that, I have 1.25 times 1 plus 0.5. I'm going to call that, I'm just going to label that as my first, and then my second, my third, and my fourth. And there is a formula that I'm just not remembering right now, the sum of an arithmetic series or sequence. You might want to look that up, because you might not have one that's quite this easy where you just have to figure out 4. You might have to figure out the first 100 terms, something like that. I think it might come to me as I'm doing the problem actually. So if it does, I'll explain it here. 1.25 times 1 is 1.25 plus 0.5 is going to be 1.75. And then the second term would be this times 2 plus 0.5. This is going to be 2.5 plus 0.5, that's 3. And then 1.25 times 3 plus 0.5. That's going to be 3.75 plus 0.5, 4.25. And then finally 1.25 times 4 plus 0.5. That would be $5 right there, plus 50 cents, $5.50. So if we take all these values and add them together, 1.75 plus 4.75, 2.5. I'm thinking about money here to make it easier. That'd be $6 plus 3, $9, and then that would be $14.50 all added together there. So this one, 14.50. This one should be choice G for number 58. And I did happen to remember that formula. It's going to be the number of terms times the first term plus the last term divided by 2. So if you apply that here, this is your first term, this is your last term in the sequence. You've got 4 terms that you're adding or summing up, and then you're taking 4 as your n. You'd be taking 1.75 as your a1, and you'd be taking 5.50 as your an, your fourth term in this case, divided by 2. That would be 4 times, and then this would be 7.25, it looks like, divided by 2. is going to give you 29 divided by 2. So either way you do it, you get the same answer, 14.5, choice G for 58.